I'm Jeff Philbin, and this is Dinner DeeAs. Today, the perfect paella made with chicken, chorizo, and a lot of love. Plus, a side of sweet fried plantains. Come on now, get your appetite ready. This is the show where we answer life's most important question. What's for dinner? Answering that call today is Chef Rosanna Rivera. She's appearing at the Savor St. Pete Food and Wine Festival this coming weekend. Chef Rosanna, what makes the perfect paella?
A lot of love, like you said in the beginning. But we're going to walk through our viewers through the process and how to really demystify, because paella may seem like it's something that's very difficult to make, but we'll see how we can simplify it and something that you can make at home for dinner.
I love it. And walk us through a little bit about what we have going right now.
So this is a chicken and chorizo paella that we're making today. So the first step is to brown the chicken. Right, so we can get the chicken partially cooked and to start developing a lot of flavor in the pan.
Now, this is dark meat, white meat. What are we working with?
So we're using today chicken thighs. You want to add a little bit of salt to it, just for flavor.
Okay.
I prefer chicken thighs because they're juicier, have a lot more flavor to it.
Okay.
And of course, you know, we're using a traditional paella pan.
Okay.
Because that's the way I grew up making it, and it's very traditional.
Now, I've got a paella pan at the house too. We're using one right now. But there might be viewers that don't have a paella pan and might say, hey, look, I'm only going to be cooking it so often. Do I really invest in it, or can I use some stuff that I already have in the kitchen?
And that is an amazing question. Honestly, a paella you can make in a good old saute pan or our cast iron pan. So I'm sure our viewers have one or the other,
Sure.
and that is a great vessel to use in place of a paella pan. This is just more traditional, and obviously paella the name comes from cooking it in this vessel. But again, nothing wrong with just using a saute pan. What you'll notice is that with this type of vessel, it develops a crust in the bottom of the rice.
The sofrito, right?
It's
socotas, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You know it, yes. But not everybody likes that, and that's okay. So
that's where all the flavor is. That's where it just has all the crunchies.
It is. So let's try to make it today.
Okay.
We're ready for step number 2.
Okay.
So let's add some onion and garlic.
All right, I'll pass this over for you here.
So you'll notice that I removed the chicken entirely.
And what was the purpose for bringing the chicken out? So that way then you could just put the onions in.
So with a lot of Spanish or Latin foods, which it speaks right to my background, you want to build layers of flavors.
Okay.
That's really what makes your dish from, oh, it's good to, it's great. Because we're building those layers. This is what I would call our second layer, right?
Okay.
Where we're adding the aromatics, which are onion and garlic. And we use extra virgin olive oil, which is my preferred oil for dishes like this.
And how much did we just put in there? How much onion, how much garlic is right now in our pan?
So for this type of pan, this is about 10 inches and it fits up to 3 to 4 people. We added approximately a quarter of a cup of onion. And I love garlic. So
I can smell it right now. I'm kind of getting so excited with it. It's
went
one of
a
my
little
favorite
bit hard
smells
on that.
right now.
So we added about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic and approximately 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Awesome. Now what's going to go in next then?
So the next step is Spanish chorizo, which is right next to you over there.
Now
Go ahead and add
what
it.
makes it a Spanish chorizo? Because you might see in the grocery stores like a Mexican chorizo. What would be a Spanish chorizo, and how are you looking for the right type for this?
So excellent question again. Spanish chorizo is dry, it's not refrigerated, and it's seasoned with a lot of Spanish paprika, which we're about to use very soon.
Now, is it spicy then?
It is not spicy at all. I would describe it as more earthy, very savory, and it imparts that very traditional flavor of paella to it.
And now this is also going to render out some of the fats too, so it's going to infuse that oil.
Correct.
Because one of the things that this is layering and layering of more flavors that it looks like that just bring out just the joy in a dish like this.
Absolutely, and what you'll notice, exactly like you said, rendering the fat in the chorizo, it becomes yellow.
It becomes yellow for
So
it.
it's very fragrant, and that's your cue that we are ready for the next step.
I love it. And Chef Rosanna's recipe is, of course, available in full on our website. That's dinnerdeas.com. Grab your phone, scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to get you right there. So we've got our chorizo rendering out some of its oils and the fats there. What are we going?
Secret ingredient.
The
We're
secret-
going with the paprika now.
Paprika now. All right.
So this is pimentón de la vera, or smoked sweet Spanish paprika. We're adding approximately a tablespoon of it.
Okay.
And I would say this is really one of those ingredients besides saffron that is gonna impart that very traditional flavor to the dish.
Now, would this be because, you're working with very humble proteins? Now, because of the spices that might go into it, is this where you might say, hey, I can do something a little bit less on that side in terms of the cost, but let me invest in a really great spice to make a dish like this?
I would definitely say pimentón. The Spanish paprika is a great ingredient to have in your arsenal in the kitchen because you don't necessarily only have to use it for paella. It goes great with chicken, with seafood. It's like earthy.
I love it. And you can smell it now starting to come alive and really kind of open up a little bit because it's taking on that hot oil to it there. And the colors of this pan are absolutely fantastic. And for you guys at home right now, I've got this beautiful toy that I get to play with, and then we got the Chef Jeff cam here. And I want you guys to see all of what we're talking about. Look at those colors right now, okay? The smells are absolutely fantastic. That paprika is mixing in with just that rendered fat from what's happened with the chorizo here.
Yummy.
And it's just bright, it's inviting, it's exciting right now.
And again, all of these layers of flavor, it's really gonna make your dish shine and be incredible. And with that, we're ready for the next step. We're going to add tomato puree, a tomato sauce.
Okay.
Again, kind of building on those layers of flavor for the paella. So
And how much is going in there?
This is approximately half a cup.
Okay.
And again, it's what we're doing with this is being able to season our rice when we add it with all these beautiful layers of flavor.
And how important is it to have that level of tomato that comes through in a paella?
Well, specifically in this one, it's important because we're trying to impart those very traditional Spanish flavors to it. However, if you travel throughout Spain, even though Valencia is the region that's mostly well known for paella, it's not the only paella, not the only region that makes it. So there are regions in Spain where you don't necessarily make your rice with tomato sauce. We call that entomatado. So I would say as our viewers explore with making paella more and more times, they can try without. Nothing wrong with skipping the tomato sauce. And see what the difference is. So as you saw, now it's time to put back that chicken. We're mixing everything in. Doesn't this look delicious already?
It absolutely looks incredible. The colors are starting to really kind of take on.
And then you want to mix it really well to make sure all of the chicken is coated in that delicious sauce. And then we move on to the star of the dish.
I love it.
Which is rice.
What kind of rice are we cooking with then?
So today we're using what is called bomba rice, which is the traditional rice for paella. But I will say it is a short grain rice because bomba rice may not be necessarily readily available at your local grocery store. So what you want to substitute with is a short grain rice. But let me tell you, Jeff, I've made this paella even with basmati rice.
And it's still that good? It still gives you that flavor?
Incredible.
Well, then we're going to have to find out because while our paella continues cooking, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, hold on to your wallets as we add in the world's most expensive spice and show you why it's worth every penny. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz, meals that you can make, and we'll show you how. Sharing her recipe for paella with chicken and chorizo is Chef Rosanna Rivera. Before the break, we cooked up the chicken and the chorizo with garlic, onion, paprika, and added tomatoes and rice. So what's next?
So the next step is to layer it out, one single layer. And if you could see, I was sort of flattening it up.
And why is that important in this step?
So paella is not a dish or a rice dish that you mix constantly. Once you have it set, you want it to develop that crust of rice that we were talking about. And when you mix it too much, then that doesn't happen.
Sure.
That's where you have all the flavor in
That's
the
where the
bottom of the
flavor is.
pan. Yes.
But you also have a beautiful, beautiful spice that's going to be coming into this to perfume it, and that is the saffron. And so, folks, I'm going to bring out the Chef Jeff cam because I want you guys all to see this here, because this here is one of the most delicate and most expensive spices in all of the world here. Now, Chef,
Yeah.
is it worth it to have this?
Well, in my opinion, it is. You know, as traditional as rice is, which we talked about. You know, that's really the start of the dish. Saffron is also the start of the dish. You know, saffron is one of the most expensive spices in the world because it is handpicked. Also, availability too and demand increases the price, but it has a very specific flavor that's traditional of the paella. Now, of course, we don't necessarily, for our viewers maybe deciding to make paella tonight, we don't want them to run to the store. So it is something you could skip, but next time you make it, want to make sure you try it.
So it's like almost like, hey, if you're going to do it one time, make sure you got everything right if you couldn't get this, but this is really the item that you need.
Absolutely, and when we talk about saffron, see now we added it to the stock and see that beautiful yellow color. That's as the saffron blooms.
And you could smell it. It's
They
starting to
said,
open up, and it's really starting to perfume it because you're seeing all of that color here. And what type of stock do we have here that we're working with?
So we are cooking with chicken, so I made a chicken stock.
Okay.
And this is also where you want to start with good quality.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we made our own for today, but if you don't have to make your own. You could buy good quality chicken stock at the store.
Okay.
And just make sure you're buying low sodium.
And why is that important to have low sodium?
Because stock is going to reduce, right? The rice is going to absorb it. So too much sodium, too much salt in it, it could make your paella too salty, and we don't want that. Now I added enough stock to, for it to bubble and to start blooming the rice.
Okay.
But I have a secret ingredient, and I think you get me on this.
All right, let's see what we got.
So this is white wine, and I love cooking with wine, Chef. But that's also probably because I'm a chef. Now, can you skip it? Absolutely, you can. But it does add that little, again, that extra layer of flavor.
Sure.
That is really good.
Now, what type of wine did you use then?
I used a dry white wine, so like a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc would be ideal. A dry Spanish wine, just kind of to keep it in the theme with Spanish wine and a Spanish rice. But yeah, this is the final step to get our paella going. And as you can tell, I'm adding the stock a little bit at a time and letting that rice bloom slowly and absorb that liquid.
I love it. For Chef Rosanna's chicken and chorizo paella recipe and the details on all of the ingredients that you'll need to make this for dinner tonight, head to our website, dinnerdeas.com, or just scan the QR code in the corner of your screen. I love this. And you really are right. I mean, like, just being able to see and have that level of coating. How do you know when too much liquid is in there or not enough? Is there something that you're looking for from an eyeball type?
Absolutely. So what we see in camera right now, that low simmer is what you want to see out of the paella at all times, for that liquid to be reducing slowly, not too aggressively. So one of the key things is controlling the heat. If you see it bubbling more than this, you need to lower your heat.
That's perfect, because while our paella bubbles away, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, our perfect paella pairing, plantains. That's still ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. Today we're making chicken and chorizo paella courtesy of Chef Rosanna Rivera. Before the break, we added our rice and left it to simmer. And in a moment, it's the time for a very special but non-traditional side. But first, you like to let your paella rest. Is that right?
So absolutely, we're at a point that I just turned it off.
Okay.
And then I'm garnishing it very traditionally with sweet green peas and red pimento or red peppers. And then we're gonna cover it because like a good steak, paella needs to rest.
Okay.
The rice finishes off cooking, it becomes really delicious, it blooms, and it's just absolutely wonderful. You wanna take it off the heat entirely.
And it smells fantastic. I love that.
Now, moving on to our side, now I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So we like our carbs. So in Spain, you would never serve
I'm just a
paella with
foodie who loves
something.
food, so I love my carbs too, okay?
So I love sweet and savory, so I love the combination of a good plate of paella and then some sweet fried plantains on the side. I'm gonna increase the heat because you want it at medium heat.
Okay.
So you want a little bit of sizzle. Now, the ripe plantains are cut on a bias, so that means on an angle, so that you have a little bit more cooking surface. And you
Now,
want
you
to
just
drop
said that
them
those
gently.
are ripe plantains. How do you know when they were ripe? Because ripe plantains also bring the sweetness behind them too, right?
Absolutely. So a green plantain is bright green, like a green banana. As it ripens, it becomes yellow,
Okay.
and then it starts developing those brown spots. When a ripe plantain is really sweet is when it's almost black.
Okay.
And that's when you want to buy them.
So that's when you want to buy them. That's when you want to use them. So they're not bad by appearance. That's really where they're going to be the sweetest.
All the flavor.
All the
It's
flavors
when
in that
it's
one. Because
really,
if they were
really
the
dark.
unripened, they would make a tostone.
Exactly.
Very cool.
You know your plantains.
I do, because and you've known how to cook for, how long have you been in the kitchen now for?
Since I was probably 12 years old, that's like my earliest memory cooking with my mom, and we would make all of these things.
Absolutely, and it's taking you to such incredible heights and just incredible places. Like, you're going to be out there this weekend for Savor St. Pete.
I know it's my third year back at Savor
Nice.
St. Pete. It's a fantastic food and wine festival, as you know. And the good thing is we're going to be doing cooking demos. I am going to be making paella. Remember that basmati rice that I mentioned?
It comes in handy here, too?
Yep. We're going to make some basmati rice paella with royal rice. And again, just a fun food and wine experience.
I love it. And you guys, and I say it because it's not just you, it's also your better half. So
It is.
tell us a little bit about who's on camera right here. Who's on the screen right there?
This is Chef Ricardo. He's my other half in life and in business. We have a business together called Chef and the Baker. And under my own brand name, then I do a lot of luxury catering events. But we're always together, you
I
know?
love it. No,
So he'll be also at Savor St. Pete.
I love it. It is totally a tandem that is just perfect to have the two of you guys in the kitchen together doing incredible things like that. And it's so much fun because you both have had such an impact here on the Tampa Bay scene with so many incredible dishes. And how did you guys go to where you're at now? Because right now you are leading a charge in the ghost kitchen arena, so to say. So what is a ghost kitchen and what's coming out of your ghost kitchen?
Absolutely. So Ghost Kitchen is something that we started a few months before pandemic, and then it kind of took off because of pandemic. But a ghost kitchen is essentially a kitchen where you don't serve customers directly. It's you may get your food because you order online. You may get your food through Uber Eats or DoorDash or any of these third-party delivery companies. We also deliver all throughout Tampa Bay area.
Not even just that. You guys are also doing wholesale production with a certain airport that is in our region. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on camera for it, but a certain big airport that is like America's best airport.
I know.
You guys are doing thousands and thousands of baked items a week?
That is correct. Yep, we service the airport, and from croissants to muffins, cookies. It's a big production, and we're super proud that our airport is getting a local product.
I absolutely love it because that is so cool. I love hearing that piece. And for everything that you need to make this tonight, get Chef Rosanna's recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code in the corner of your screen. It's going to take you right there. How do we know that this is taken on the color that you need and that you're liking for these plantains?
So we want to cook through the plantain all the way through. It's going to get darker in color, so we're looking for caramelization of the sugars in the plantain.
Perfect.
So we're going to wait for a little bit longer. I just flip them, and then we're going to drain them one at a time.
I love it. Well, let's take a look at those colors because when we come back after the break, it's my favorite part of the show. It's taste test time, where we make sure that this dinner idea is worthy of being a dinner dia. Welcome back to Dinner Dias. We're here every day serving up delicious ideas for dinner. Today we've been making chicken and chorizo paella, courtesy of Chef Rosanna Rivera, with a side of fried plantains. My friend, this is my favorite part. It's the taste test time. Let's go straight into this. And I'm going paella first because this is just love on a fork. And it's loving me straight back. This is one of my favorite comfort dishes.
So actually for me too.
Why do you love a comfort dish like this? Well, what is it for you that just like brings it home for you?
It reminds me of home, of my mom, my uncle that used to make a great paella. And just, I get happy every time I cook it, whether for myself or, Ricardo or my customers. I just love it.
How cool is that food allows us that opportunity to just go back to a yesteryear with family or friends or traditions and culture? Like, isn't it incredible to have that impact with food?
I know, what's so special about food. You can always remember where you had it, with whom, what it tastes like. You never forget. It creates memories.
It absolutely creates a memory. And this right here is a memorable dish. Thanks again to Chef Rosanna Rivera. See her this upcoming weekend at Savor St. Pete Food and Wine Festival. And don't forget, you can find her recipe for this chicken and chorizo paella on our website, dinnerdias.com. Just get your phone and scan the QR code in the corner of your screen and let us know if you make it for your dinner and how it turned out. I'm Jeff Philbin. See you next time with more Dinner Dias.